Tell her I said hello.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Say hi to your mother for me, okay?
Because that was really
Okay. I'm sorry.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
What?
Guys, welcome to a new segment of Into the West Comics. We're introducing, starting now, it's called Run It Back. We're going to be running through all of the MCU films one by one. I'll take you back through my time machine if I could. Kind of like a time heist.
It's like
The year was 2008.
Wow.
Blockbusters like Marley and Me.
Hollywood Video.
What? I'm taking you back to Hollywood Video. I'm taking you blockbuster films, Paul.
Oh man, was that a dad joke? That was a dad joke, right? Like, ha, knee slapper.
Marley and Me, one of Shane's favorites, Fool's Gold with McConaughey. And another film that the actor actually got nominated for that we're going to be talking about in a second. Robert Downey Jr. was nominated for a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Tropic Thunder, of course, came out in 2008 as well. Also, The Dark Knight. But the movie that I wanted you guys to kind of come together and all talk about was Iron Man, the arc reactor that started it all. Let me introduce all of my versions of Mark Armour's suits. Marcus is here.
Hey.
My hot dog Paul is over there.
I'm your hot dog now?
Yeah, you're my hot dog over there.
Okay.
You're further away tonight.
I am a little farther away.
Uncle nephew Shane is over there in the sleeper cell.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
And
Iron Man away.
And let's Iron Man away. And Donovan is here with his arc reactor.
Right?
What?
What?
Can't stop being Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Guys, let's get right into it. I mean, this movie had its share of risks. Tom Cruise was one of the actors rumored to play Tony Stark.
Right.
Jon Favreau kind of like campaigned sort of to get Robert Downey Jr. this role. They did not want to sign off on it. This was not officially the first Marvel Studios project because it was produced and distributed by Paramount at the time.
Okay.
And there wasn't really a Marvel Studios yet even formed. We didn't know what we were getting into when we saw this movie, and we started to get the beginning of something that I think changed films. And a whole connected universe.
Yeah,
right.
When we got like Samuel Jackson showing up as Nick Fury, I just want to take. I'm done with my time travel thing. I just want to see what your guys' impact. What did this movie do for you guys when you first saw it, Brother Marcus?
It made me aware of those characters. That first and foremost, because I have heard of Iron Man, I knew of Iron Man, but I never really cared. Nor did I read any of his comics. So for me to see that come to life in a big blockbuster film like that was very good.
You're not a big Iron Man guy.
No, not really. But there are a couple of choice runs that I can recommend that are really good. That are really solid for that. And it's funny you mentioned Tom Cruise, because the Warren Ellis run, Extremis, which was basically where a lot of that film pulled some of its material from, has the art in it. You actually see Tom Cruise's likeness as Tony Stark in that book, which is interesting because Extremis is basically the nanites that are in his bloodstream, where he's able to beck and call his suit to himself, or form it to him organically. So all of those ideas came from the Warren Ellis Extremis run, which is usually pretty easy to find, either in hardcover or in trade. But it was definitely, for me, initially, it was just spectacles, a nice big blockbuster movie to go and see. And then as it became more and more popular, the awareness grew of the comic and whatnot. So I think it did a great thing for Marvel in terms of giving them that leg up that they needed after dealing with so many freaking, I think bankruptcy and all that kind of stuff, not having the rights to their own property, Spider-Man and
Fantastic Four,
and all that kind of stuff. So it gave them some hope that there is the ability for them to work around those characters that they may not own at that time, or allowed to use at that time, and move forward. and dig into the more obscure characters.
Well, that's where the split created with Marvel's financial issues, with them splitting in all these different properties, going to Fox or Sony or whatever. Everything is kind of splitting. And now we're like, 12, 13, 14 years later, everything coming full circle and then finally being able to bring things back. They were saying the other day, I mean, we're going to get into this in the coming weeks, but they're talking about Marvel Studios having the right to distribute certain films and solo characters for those films. They're now in the next 2 or 3 years going to be allowed to do that.
Right.
That's how long these contracts have been in place. Paul, what was your first thoughts when you saw Iron Man and just the blueprint starting to be laid out, I guess?
Well, I'm gonna date myself a little bit with how young I am.
You were like 6.
I was 12 when it came out.
Oh my gosh.
And I wanted to watch every Marvel or any superhero movie that came out. I wanted to watch them all. I didn't care. Even if they weren't good, which a lot of them weren't to that point. And The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time. And the fact that Iron Man, a character that I don't not like, but I had no real frame of reference and didn't really care for, that movie, I myself hold in the same kind of reverence that I do The Dark Knight. And Batman is my favorite character. So I think that says a lot about the movie Iron Man. And I think what Iron Man did was it didn't just set up the MCU. It did something at the end that until that point in superhero movies, superheroes had alternate identities.
Bingo.
Yeah.
There wasn't, you didn't know who the hero was. A big point of most superhero films was them trying to live that double life, trying to keep themselves hidden. And I think we forget how big it was when Tony Stark stood up there and it said everything about who the character was.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, you guys think I'm Iron Man? Well, I am Iron Man." And then cut to black, and then you get the Nick Fury cameo at the end, and we were off to the races. And we were so excited about everything that could be and that would be, and we have that movie to thank for it.
Yeah. It was mind blowing for me to see that as an experience in the theater. I had heard from somebody earlier that I watched in the middle of the day after it came out. That wasn't a thing to go see at midnight. I wasn't even thinking about that. See it. And I remember somebody saying, it was you have to stay because there's some stuff in the post-credit things that you have to stay through. I'm like, okay, stay through it. It's going to be something stupid, whatever. And little did I know.
Right.
Whatever. Donovan, what about this movie that...
I'm also going to age myself here. I was 19 when the movie came out.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Shane.
Shane and I were 40.
Well, he said, "Oh my gosh."
Oh, they're so young.
It was a year after high school. And I had my friend Chase, who I would shout out to Chase Taylor. Love you, buddy.
Love you, Chase.
Shout out, Chase.
He got me back into comic books.
I don't know.
Because I found out, because for first few years of high school, all you want to do is be a cool kid. Right. And then the last few years,
Cool
you're like, I
kids
don't care.
read. Yeah,
Let's
cool
party.
kids
Let's
don't
have a good time.
They can't.
I got back into comic.
I
I got back into comic books again, my end of junior year into my senior year.
Right.
And my friend Chase had a big part in dealing with that. And I read a lot of Captain America.
Yes.
I read a lot of Captain America. And I was like, this is awesome. Because I'd never read Cap before. And then we had heard this new Iron Man movie was coming out. And I was like, should I read some Iron Man? He's like, nah, not even worth it. I was like, all right, cool. So then we watched the movie and we're in the theater. We're watching it. It was in the afternoon, I think. And there's one moment where Agent Coulson comes in and he goes, I'm with Strategic Homeland Intervention Logistics Division. And I was like, and I looked at Chase and he looked at me and I went, SHIELD. It's SHIELD. And we were kind of freaking out there for a moment because they were like, SHIELD is big.
Right.
They just don't cover Iron Man. And then our wheels started turning as we were watching, do we see SHIELD more in other Iron Man movies after this? Or and do we get another, that was sort of the thing that really got me and Chase going. We were like, that seems interesting. Oh, well. And then they showed the Nick Fury thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought my eyeballs were going to fall out. I was like, oh my gosh.
The closest thing we had to a crossover before then is when George Clooney's like, this is why Superman works alone. Other than that, there had never been a mention of other superheroes in other superhero movies.
Yeah.
And really, as far as Marvel's run up to that point, it was really touch and go. Because we had the Fantastic Four movies that were there. We've had Daredevil, Blade,
Elektra.
some of the they were B+ movies.
X-Men was kind of the only hit.
Punisher,
X-Men-
baby.
X-Men-
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, that's right. Dolph Lundgren was in it. That's right, dude. That's an underrated movie. I actually really loved that movie as a kid.
I almost thought about ordering that and making that everyone's president.
That's the DVD of that.
Not the DVD, not the Blu-ray.
No, the VHS.
DVD. No, or VHS. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I saw it, I was blown away by it. The only things that I remember watching because I watched it recently, and I remember like, okay, where was I? Like, how was I feeling as I was watching it today? And I remember thinking, God, Terrence Howard is awful.
Oh wow!
What you mean, man? Come on, man.
Hey, man, come on, Tony.
He got paid more than RDJ for that movie.
Yeah, RDJ got $500,000 for that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Because he was fresh out of rehab.
Yeah, I will say that because
Only
I'm
$500,000?
prior Air Force, so I will say that Terrence Howard definitely had the look.
No doubt.
He had the look of an Air Force officer pilot.
Mm-hmm.
He had the swag because a lot of Air Force pilots are cocky, so he had that. But then after
It's the
that,
chemistry with RDJ that was so flat.
I think he had some issues with Favreau as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
even then, I was like, cool. So I remember just, and then to Paul's point, the part where he says, "The truth is, I am Iron Man."
Yeah.
And dude, I was like, wow, they actually they did that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And then, I mean, the rest is history from that point. So it really was a history making movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah,
Be like, oh man, are they teasing Civil War? Is just a registration superhero act?
Right, but-
Is he
Who would've
revealing
thunk it?
himself?
Uncle
the thing-
nephew.
but real quick, the real thing that I thought was interesting was had it not been for Iron Man, I don't think we would have a show like this
True.
without us
No,
talking about
I
it.
think that's
Sounds
accurate.
true. Sounds
I
true.
think that is
You can thank RDJ
100%
for that.
accurate. Thanks, RDJ.
Thanks, John
Thanks, John
and Kevin.
and Kevin.
Hi Shane.
Lord Feige.
Hi Shane.
Hi.
Shane, what were some of your
How old
initial
were you?
reactions?
I think I was 37. No,
I was 26.
in 2008. How old were we, Frank?
We
Frank,
were,
you gonna-
we were still old. We were
They
like
were old.
35, 36.
35, 36.
Yeah.
But
Oh, man.
the thing I
It was
loved
peak.
about it the
Peak
most.
I peaked.
No, you didn't.
The thing I
haven't
dug
seen
about it.
anything
The thing I dug about it the most is the supporting cast that they chose to kind of launch this character. I thought Jeff Bridges as Lucas
man.
Stang was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Tony Stark.
I thought Gwyneth Paltrow was Pepper Potts. Like that was. I thought that was
Yeah.
the perfect. I thought casting was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, they did
Now,
a good
for a
job
second,
with
I was like, can the guy that directed Maid, could he possibly do a decent superhero
That's a
movie?
good point.
Favreau. I mean, Favreau had a lot riding on him, and he came through with flying
Guy from
colors.
Friends.
It was one way to put this movie out as one of the first, as the first true Marvel movie. It's another thing to do it with such a finesse where
It's incredible.
the action scenes didn't seem over the top; they seemed plausible. Him getting the reactor in his chest seemed very plausible. Everything about that movie seemed really plausible, with him being this over the top character who would be out there, in where was it? Was it in Iraq?
Yeah,
Right.
there's
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Him going to Afghanistan to preview his newest weapons, Stark
Yeah.
Industries and all that. Everything was done so well, and it was made it so believable that I just thought the movie couldn't lose, man. I was very excited about the future of the MCU and what could possibly be. Now, did they overdo it? Of course, in Iron Man 2. And Iron Man 3 didn't seem to really have a script, but he's just kind of riffing as Tony Stark.
We'll get
But
there.
that first one,
gonna
yeah.
get
But
to
that,
that,
but I
yeah.
tell you,
Yeah,
that first one, it struck every correct chord you could strike if you're introducing comic books and introducing them as movies to the general public. Everybody was like, that was absolutely incredible.
That was a great movie.
yeah, no, that was a great movie.
I think the whole Afghanistan thing, how it started, that
Yeah.
gave it a very grounded element.
A real
to it,
element
because a
that
lot
they
of that stuff
needed.
was still. It was.
Oh yeah,
It was very active.
Everything was
Oh, yeah.
pieced
And-
together.
Yeah, it was very active.
Yeah.
Literally.
Because 2008, I was just swearing in. Actually, I was joining
right.
the Air Force at the time. I was older, 26, 27. Most people join, when they're right out of high school.
Yeah,
or whatever.
teenager. Yeah.
So, so a lot of that stuff was very active. Afghanistan was very hot still. A lot of stuff was going on. And so to have that element, kind of tap into that more grounded, realistic element was very, very cool. And it kind of brought some of the, over the topness. It kind of balanced it a little bit.
Yeah, it was balanced well and paced well.
Absolutely.
Too. The
It's
movie
still to
really
me
paced
top
well.
3 of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, it still
too.
holds up.
Easily.
Yeah. Although it would have been fun if we just saw it was like a suit, like an Iron Man suit, like where it's just gloves and he just puts the gloves on, like some old comics.
He's got gloves.
They're just
flying
Iron
around.
Man gloves. He's I gotta get my briefcase. It's a briefcase, and he has the metal mask and he has the gloves.
Glad
Yeah.
Marcus
He's
was
putting
on.
on a
Oh
suit.
my gosh! Yeah,
right with you.
Sitting there, he forgets a piece.
Aw, last year's. This one doesn't fit anymore.
Maybe that could be a James Gunn special.
Yeah.
I didn't see the post-credit scene until it came out on DVD
Oh, yeah.
because I
missed
only
it?
saw it once in theaters. And I was like, that was great.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Time to go.
You know what I mean? And then
Right.
it was not till I watched the DVD and my friend, again, Chase, was like, you gotta watch after the credits. And I was like, thanks, man. All right, yeah, I'll do that. And then I watched it and obviously flipped the lid. And I was like, they are doing something.
yeah.
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
I mean, who knows what could have happened if if the movie hadn't been received. It felt like kind of a risk. We're going to talk about some of these future films of the MCU and some risks that they took that paid off and some that didn't work out quite as well. But this definitely felt like at the time like a little bit of a risk for a character that didn't seem like it was a household name
Right.
when they put this out and they say, well, this is what we're starting with. But you look at it now in retrospect, it's like he was literally the heart of the MCU.
Yep.
Right.
And it was incredibly impactful and that was a great movie. And like Paul said, it was like it's a top 3 MCU film, I believe. It's fantastic. Guys, thank you.
Yeah.
If you are if you haven't done so already, make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe. We really appreciate that. Take the time to check us out and comment down below.
Subscribe.
And Paul, how do they get us in the social?
What?
Get at us at Into the West Comics on Instagram,
What?
at Into_comics on Twitter,
What?
and at Into the West Comics on TikTok.
What?
What? I drink a beer. I don't drink beer.
I drank a beer. I
drank
don't
a
really
root beer.
drink them.
Right, yeah.
Ginger
But find
beer.
us there, hit us up, talk,
Ginger.
chat it up. Let us know what you think of this. Comment
And
below.
next week, guys, I mean, Shane may have previewed it in a way. We're going to talk about Iron Man 2
Sure
next
are.
week.
Oh,
So
my God.
prepare yourselves. I don't know how much homework we're going to do
man.
if you're going to go watch it. I know that Donovan and
I'm
I
gonna have
both
to watch it.
rewatched Iron Man this week.
It was
Yes.
good.
Shout
Yeah.
out Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, I'm going to go watch it again.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Every movie before we come.
As we go.
yeah, as we go every
It
week.
needs to be fresh.
Yeah.
We need to have a fresh take.
Outlook.
Guys, we
We'll see.
appreciate it. We're going to go eat now. I've got to feed Shane or he gets angry.
I'm starved.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
He's like a gremlin.
Guys, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Later,
Break
y'all.
it.
Love
Break
you.
it.
Peace,
Break it.
redheads forever, baby.
Break it.
Yeah.
What?
Break
I
it.
hate it here.